Welcome to Oculus of the Wise, and if you found this, I need you to understand something before we go any further. You are not scrolling randomly. You are not just killing time. Something in you was searching, and it brought you exactly here. Stay with me. What you are about to hear was written for one person, and I believe with everything in me that person is you. If you are new here, take 1 second and subscribe. Not because I need the numbers, but because what is about to unfold in your life is going to require reminders. And this channel was built to be that voice when the world goes quiet on you. Hit subscribe. You will understand why before this is over. Now let me say what you have been afraid to say out loud. You are about to step into a version of your life that you have quietly imagined, but never dared to believe was actually meant for you. Not someday, not when things finally settle down, now in this exact season. And the strangest part is that almost nobody around you is going to understand it while it is happening. Sit with that for a second, because if you are honest, you have felt it for a while now. This sense that you were built for more than the small, safe, repeating life you have been living. You have watched people around you settle. You have watched them shrink their dreams down to fit the size of their fear. And every time you tried to do the same, every time you tried to convince yourself that this is enough, stop wanting more, something inside you refused. It would not go quiet. That refusal is not arrogance. It is not restlessness. It is a calling that has been pressing against the walls of your ordinary life, waiting for you to finally answer it. I have spent more years than I can count sitting across from people who carried exactly what you are carrying right now, that ache, that hum, that holy dissatisfaction. And I have learned the hard way, not from theories, but from watching God work in real lives, that the people who exceed every expectation are almost never the ones who looked the part early on. They were the overlooked ones, the late bloomers, the ones who got counted out. And that is exactly why what is about to happen to you is going to surprise everyone, including maybe you. Let me name the lie first, because it has been sitting on your chest for years, and you have gotten so used to its weight, you think it is just who you are. The lie says, if it has not happened by now, it is not going to. The lie says, you missed your window, you are too old, it is too late, you waited too long. You made too many wrong turns to ever get back on the road you were supposed to be on. And the cruelest thing about that lie is how reasonable it sounds. It uses your own math against you. You add up the years, you count the chances that came and went, and the number feels like a verdict. But God does not do math the way you do. He is not adding up your wasted time and subtracting it from what is left. He multiplies. He takes the broken pieces and the lost years and the dead ends, and he does not discard them. He folds every single one of them into the thing he is building. Nothing in your story is wasted material. The detour was part of the route. You were never off the map. You were on a part of it you could not read yet. If this is hitting different right now, if something in your chest just tightened, do me a favor. Hit the like button, not for the algorithm, for yourself. Let that small act be your first agreement with what heaven is trying to tell you tonight. A tiny yes that echoes louder than you think. Now let me take you somewhere. Long before he ever stood in a palace, before he ever interpreted a single dream for a king, there was a young man named Joseph, sitting at the bottom of a prison cell. He did not deserve to be in. He had had dreams, real ones, the kind that wake you up at night with your heart pounding because some part of you knows they came from somewhere beyond you. And what did those dreams get him? Betrayed by his own brothers, sold like property, thrown into a pit, hauled to a foreign land. And just when he had clawed his way back to something stable, he was falsely accused and locked away again. Years passed in that place. Not days, not weeks, years. He helped 2 other prisoners, interpreted their dreams accurately, and asked one simple thing in return. "Remember me?" And that man walked out, got his life back, and forgot Joseph completely for 2 more full years. But Joseph was not being punished in that cell, he was being prepared. Every year of being overlooked was sharpening something in him that comfort never could have built: the patience, the character, the ability to hold power without being corrupted by it. The kind of man who could stand before the most powerful ruler in the world and not flinch is not made in a palace. He is made in a prison, and when the moment finally came, Joseph went from the lowest place in the kingdom to the second highest seat in a single afternoon. One conversation, one door. After 13 years of closed ones, so let me ask you something. How long have you been in your version of that cell? How many years of quiet, faithful, unseen work that nobody claps for? How many times have you watched someone less prepared get the thing you have been praying for, and you smiled on the outside while something inside you whispered, "When is it my turn?" The length of your delay is directly connected to the size of what is coming. People who are being prepared for small things do not get tested this long. You have been in the process this long because what is on the other side of it requires this much depth. I want to bring it down to where you actually live. It is a Tuesday, nothing special about it. You are standing at the kitchen counter at 6 in the morning, coffee going cold, scrolling, when you know you should not be, and you see it. Someone you know, someone who never had half of what you have, announcing the thing, the new job, the new house, the win. And you put the phone face down a little too hard, and you stand there in the grey morning light feeling something you would be ashamed to admit. There is nothing wrong with you. What you felt was not jealousy at its root. It was recognition. Some part of you knows you were made to carry something significant, and watching someone else step into their moment scraped against the wound of your own delay. But their harvest is not your timeline. You are not behind. You are being grown in a different soil, on a slower clock, for a heavier fruit. The tree that grows fast snaps in the first real storm. The one that is meant to last takes its time pushing roots down where no one can see. Right now, if you are still watching, that is not an accident. That is obedience. Something told you to stay, and you listened. I want to honor that by telling you about something that can go deeper than a single video ever could. In the description below, and in the pinned comment, there is a link. It is there for those of you who feel called to sow into this ministry, to keep this message reaching the next person sitting in their own prison cell at 3 in the morning, wondering if God forgot them. Every single gift, no matter the size, is a seed planted into someone else's breakthrough. And I have watched God honor that kind of giving in ways that will make your accountant nervous. If your spirit is stirring right now, do not ignore it. Now let me say something harder to hear. Part of why this season has felt so lonely is that you have been waiting for permission from people who cannot give it. You have been showing your dreams to people who love you, but cannot see past the version of you they have always known. A prophet is not honored in his own hometown. The people who knew you when will always struggle to see the who you are becoming. Do not take it personally. Take it as confirmation that you have outgrown the room you have been waiting for applause in. And the closer you get to the door, the quieter the encouragement gets and the louder the discouragement gets. When you were nowhere near your breakthrough, everybody had advice. But the closer you get to the real thing, the more isolated it feels. Do not mistake the thinning crowd for abandonment. The path narrows because it is leading somewhere specific. You are not alone because you are forsaken. You are alone because you are being singled out. There was a woman in a crowd who had been bleeding for 12 years, suffering, isolated, treated as untouchable, and one day she heard that a healer was passing through. She had no status to part the crowd, no name to get her to the front, so she got down low and pushed through. And she reached out one trembling hand and touched the very edge of his garment, and she was healed in an instant. and he stopped in the middle of a thronging crowd and asked who touched him, not to shame her, to see her, to call her daughter in front of everyone who had spent 12 years pretending she did not exist. She did not need the crowd to make room. She just needed to refuse to stay in the back, and she did not touch his hand or his face. She touched the hem, the lowest part of the garment, the part that drags in the dust. She did not have access to the front. She had access to the edge, and the edge was enough. Your reach does not have to be impressive. It just has to be real. So here is my question for you, and I want you to really answer it. What is the one thing you have been waiting for permission to reach for? The dream you have kept folded up so small that even saying it out loud feels embarrassing. Go to the comments right now and write it down, one sentence. Name it, because the moment you say it where it can be witnessed is the moment it stops being a secret you are ashamed of and starts being a seed you are planting. I read every single one, and I pray over every single one. You are about to exceed every expectation, not because you are going to suddenly become someone new, but because you are finally going to stop hiding who you have always been. The world will not get it while it is happening. They did not get Joseph in the prison. They did not get the woman crawling through the crowd. The ones being prepared for something extraordinary almost always look ordinary, right up until the moment they do not. Your moment is closer than the length of your waiting has led you to believe. The cell door has a hinge. The garment is within reach, and the hand that has been holding you in the dark was never holding you back. It was holding you ready. Before you leave, I want you to understand what is happening right now. You stayed. You did not scroll past. You did not click away when the world offered you 1,000 easier distractions. That was not willpower. That was your spirit, recognizing the frequency of its own assignment. And if you leave now without subscribing, without dropping your dream in the comments, without sending this to the one person you know who is sitting in their own silent prison tonight, then the moment fades, not the calling. The calling never dies, but the momentum of this exact encounter, where heaven and your attention overlapped for these few minutes, that is what you protect by acting right now. Subscribe, comment your dream, share this, and if you feel led, sow a seed through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Let this be the night you stopped waiting for permission and started walking toward the door only God can open. You have been faithful in the prison long enough. Get ready for the palace. It is not a question of if anymore. It is only a question of which ordinary Tuesday God decides to turn the key. And when he does, remember this night, remember you almost scrolled past, and remember you did not. I will see you in the next one. Oculus of the wise, eyes open, spirit ready.